Hey, Southern Nevada, let's talk about your tap water. Despite its hard, mineral-rich taste, your water meets or surpasses all federal Safe Drinking Water Act standards, so don't confuse hard water with its quality. Sourced from the Rocky Mountains, your water is analyzed more than 300,000 times a year. It's treated and monitored 24/7 by a team of technical experts. So get all the facts about your tap water at snwa.com. SNWA is a not-for-profit water agency. Well, spring was beautiful and brief this year. So as we head into the 90s, come pull up a chair, sit a while here with us as we discuss the week's news. Today on CityCast Las Vegas, I'm here with Nevada Independent Opinions editor Andrew Corrali and Elle Hope, poet and founder of Spotlight Poetry. And we're talking about how the state of Nevada is starting to use AI for unemployment claims, why the people who visit Vegas are wealthier than ever, and driverless car company Zoox and their new partnership with Uber. It's Friday, March 13th. I'm Sonia Cho Swanson, and here's what Las Vegas is talking about. Andrew, Elle, good morning.
Hey.
Good morning.
Well, we're going to start off with our hot headline. Gas prices are up 50 cents in 1 week. Channel 13 pointed out that a week ago it was about $3.70. Now it's $4.21. And as analysts say, even more upticks are on the way. So yes, quote unquote, pain at the pump, as they have described it. Some tips they have for drivers to save money on gas are to A, slow down while driving. That's never going to happen in Vegas. Limit air conditioning usage. Probably not going to happen in Vegas as much either. Plan multiple errands in one trip and keep your car's service up to date. So I was just curious, before we jump into things, what are your most unhinged ways to save money on gas?
I hyperinflate my tires to dangerous levels because apparently that really increases your fuel efficiency. There's a whole subculture of these people called hypermilers.
Oh my
and
God.
That is one of their, they are all about extracting maximum mileage from your car. And inflating your tires beyond the recommended limits is one of the life hacks of hypermilers. So that's a pro tip.
Andrew, good to know. Elle?
I think for me, I like to lie to myself and say that, oh yeah, I can roll the windows down today. Like I can bear the heat to not turn on my AC.
Brave soul.
But it typically lasts for like 5 minutes before I start sweating through my shirt. And I'm like, all right, that's enough of that.
Yeah. Same. I'm going to try this what do you call it? Hypermilers?
Hypermilers. Oh, yeah. You will go down a wormhole if you just Google that. So
okay.
Bon voyage.
Thanks, Andrew. Well, hypermilers, good to know. Just be safe out there. I know overinflating your tires can give you a little less traction on the road sometimes. So maybe do it with an eye to caution. But Andrew, when you're not hypermiling, you're in the news, you're noticing what's going on. What is happening with Nevada and AI?
Yeah. So, everyone's heard, the phrase that the robots are coming for our jobs. Well, now they're not only just coming for our jobs, but they're coming for our unemployment benefits after they take our jobs. So recently, the Nevada Department of Employment, Training, and Rehabilitation, aka DETR, has announced that it's implementing AI to help it make decisions on unemployment benefit claim appeals. So the State Department is shelling out $2.6 million to Google for this piece of software that the department officials claim will dramatically improve unemployment claims appeals processing efficiency, which is the most depressing dystopian cluster of words I've heard in a long time. So I'll lay out the quick scenario of how this AI tool would come into play. So say you lose your job through no fault of your own. You file an unemployment claim with the state for benefits, and the state says no for whatever reason. So you file an appeal. Under the sort of the old model, you would get a hearing with a human appeals referee. And it's kind of like this mini court case where you could present evidence or even testify. And after the hearing, the appeals referee goes away and deliberates like a judge, and they issue a decision. And a human appeals referee could take anywhere from 10 minutes to several hours to several days to make their decision. But the officials say this new AI tool can make a decision in as few as 5 minutes. So, so pretty wild, pretty intense. But yeah, the big question is, it's faster, but does that make it better?
Well, that's my question. Is this a good idea? Is it a promising solution or a concerning development?
Yeah, I am definitely filed under the concerning development camp. And if you just like
Okay.
think this through a
Elle,
little
you're
bit,
nodding.
Yeah, I agree with this. I'm very concerned.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. And so if you just like, I mean, you just think about it. If you start with the assumption that the unemployment claims appeal process is kind of unwieldy and clunkily deliberative and inefficient, and yeah, that's okay, that's a fact. But I'm of the mind that like maybe there are parts of our administrative civil bureaucracy that we engage in that should be inefficient and clunkily
Huh.
deliberative because it's a serious decision, right? And the state determining whether you'll be able to continue to pay your rent because you lost your job, it's a serious decision. So I'm sometimes resistant to this idea that everything should be made, more efficient and streamlined, for the sake of, efficiency, when there are some things we need to slow down with and, really think about. And, another concern with AI using it in any kind of system is the biases that are going to
Hmm.
get baked into the process. And if you think about the core value or assumed objective of success that's embedded in the deployment of this new AI tool, you have to ask what's that value, and is the purpose of this AI to save the state money, or is it to enact some level of proper economic justice or financial stability for people thrown out of work? Call me
Mhm.
cynical, but I suspect it's the former, not the latter. It's all about saving the state money, which makes me suspect that a lot more people are going to be denied claims, for unemployment, and
Hmm.
these are people in need.
I want to push back on the bias though, because I actually think that humans have bias, right? I mean, if machines have bias, it is because they have learned bias from human beings. These are machines trained on human processes, right? So, I mean, I think there's potential to actually train the machines to look for bias and avoid bias in a way that maybe humans couldn't.
And you are absolutely right. And the thing, though, sort of the premise we have to start with is that any AI system isn't going to be some, sort of like pure system that is completely separate from human biases. And
Hmm.
any biases that are going to be baked into the AI system are going to come from humans. But I would
Mhm.
think, call me crazy and hopeful, but I would think during this clunky deliberative process, that's occurring right now with humans, that you would have a bit more self-awareness and a bit more, openness and a bit more, you know, consciousness of your biases than you would if it was, sort of turned into a software algorithm.
But for example, like a software algorithm, so say you're a human reviewer, perhaps you have a little more sympathy towards someone who has maybe a similar name to you, right? Or maybe something in their story resonates with you as a human being, resonates with your story, right? These are biases that like make real economic impacts, differences in people's lives. And I feel like an AI would theoretically, if you trained it the right way, not have those biases, right? To say like, you know what, this person, I don't care what their name sounds like, any name that is connected with somebody who works in this office, right? So I
Right,
don't know. Elle,
right.
what do you think?
Yeah. Okay. So, what's so funny about this is I'm part of a spoken word slam team, and we've been doing a lot of research in AI currently because we're trying to write a group piece for it. And in that
Hmm.
research, I lean more on Andrew's side with it because with AI, the way the system is built is with pattern recognition. So AI makes a decision based on previous patterns. And so we have to ask the question, who is the person who is inputting these patterns into the system, right? There
Hmm.
has been data to show that AI has been biased in the way names sound, in certain data that's inputted into the system, and it is really effective for Black Americans. So, my question with this unemployment new way of life, I guess we could say, that we're entering is one, how does this truly affect marginalized people in different communities
Mhm.
who truly do need unemployment to survive, who are already struggling? Like SNAP benefits have been reduced down,
Right.
Medicare is basically dwindling to small numbers where I don't even know if
Yeah.
anyone can live off that anymore. And so, yeah, that's one of my big questions is how is this going to affect the people who truly do need it the most? I think there are some folks who may seek unemployment and, they have a little cushion, they have savings, but a lot of people are living check to check now. And putting my livelihood in a robot who's literally just looking at different patterns, being like, yeah, this looks right. So yeah, we'll approve it, is a bit concerning. I do think there needs to be a little bit more humanity when we're looking into folks trying to survive, and having some compassion, I think, also from our systems,
And I'm glad you said that word, compassion. And that is, a value that I wonder, if that will go away or diminish or disappear. That's a valid value in this, in this realm of, civil bureaucracy. And so, yeah, it does concern me that that will, just sort of vaporize, as the AI is deployed. But to your point, Sonia, those are actually really interesting thoughts. And I imagine in some ways that the AI will reduce some of those sharper points of human bias that could come, very demonstratively into play. So so I guess
sure.
I guess we'll see, because it's rolled out. So we're strapped in and we're along for the ride.
Yeah. So I have a couple thoughts. I mean, I actually have interfaced with the unemployment department before, and things just take a really, really long time.
Yeah.
Things take a very long time. And sometimes the difference between you getting a check maybe this week and like in 10 days can be the difference between you missing rent or not, your rent payment, right?
Yeah.
And then we know in Las Vegas, where landlord laws heavily favor landlords, say you miss a rent check, the summary eviction process is not favorable to renters. So I do wonder if there's some merit in the ways that AI can be used to speed up the process, help people get the checks that they need like sooner, faster. And then I think crucially, Dieter says that there are two people who are doing the human oversight of the process, right? Making sure that the process has actually been enacted fairly.
Yeah. Which one lawmaker points out, interestingly, he says, actually, this adds a little bit more time to the process, not less, because now you have to have their the sort of the AI's homework checked by a couple of humans, which I thought was interesting. And I think, in the wash, it will come out to be more efficient. But if we're talking about faster checks, hooray for AI. If we're talking about people being, thrown off unemployment because of a ruthlessly cold and calculating Skynet, boo.
Yeah. Well, I guess my question is, like, would people have the chance to appeal? And if they were appealing, would they have a chance to talk to a human at that point, right? Because I could imagine sort of a dystopian loop where you're just like reaching a robot voice over and over and over and over again. And that is dark.
It is.
And you're just using an AI on your end to just spam appeals.
There we go. Okay.
So
is that the hack?
I think we just like created the premise for a new dystopian flick. Yeah, for sure.
Oh my goodness.
Hi, I'm David Plotz. I'm the CEO of CityCast, a podcast network that includes this show you're listening to, and also 12 other CityCasts in 12 other cities. And each one knows their city as well as your local team knows yours. So isn't it time we connected them? Don't you want to know how they're tackling their bike lane problems and housing challenges and sidewalk dog poop crises? That's why I'm hosting a new podcast called Your City Could Be Better. Because it could be. Every week, I'll chat with a different host in our CityCast network about what their cities are doing right and wrong, the weird things they're trying, and the surprising successes, so that we can all learn how to make our cities a little bit better. Listen to Your City Could Be Better on YouTube or wherever you get your podcasts.
Well, let's move on to our next topic. Visitors to Vegas are getting wealthier. Elle, what's going on there?
Yeah. So I think we are feeling the impact of F1 and Super Bowl and everything coming into town.
Oh, yeah.
So the latest visitor profile study conducted by the Las Vegas Convention and Visitors Authority, the percentage of Las Vegas tourists from households making more than $100,000 has rapidly grown following the pandemic, with 75% of visitors in 2025 surpassing that threshold, which is crazy.
Wow.
A majority of Las Vegas tourists last year we're in the top 30% of the country's household income as measured by our U.S. Census Bureau. The LVCVA president, Stephen Hill, said the increasingly large share of higher income visitors reflects Americans' uneasy feelings about this economy, which I feel like we all are living on a budget right now and scheduling vacations, especially to different tourist trap destinations, if you want to call us one of those, is not on everyone's priority list this year.
I'm still hanging up on the fact that $100,000 in a household is considered wealthy. Like, yeah, I feel like we're just like lowering the standards because that ain't wealthy. Well, I don't think in today's economy.
In today's economy, what you need to survive as like, you know, a family of 2, family of 3, family of 4, afford rent. Like $100K is, you know, as middle income by a lot of standards. Exactly, but it is also like a much smaller percentage of the country as a whole, where median incomes are much, much lower.
Right.
Yeah. What's interesting is we're also dealing with this decline in people who are in sensitive economic challenges. So people within my age group, the 21 to 29-year-olds, you know, they saw a decline from 20% in 2018 to 9% last year of people within that age group visiting Las Vegas.
Oh my God, all the young hotties are leaving Vegas.
I know. It's what's happening right now.
Yeah.
I think there's this funny trend on TikTok called millennial cringe. And I was like, oh my gosh, is Las Vegas truly entering our millennial cringe era? Because I have to wonder too, like, what are we marketing towards these days? You know, visitation also internationally is down, with Canadians being like, girl, I don't know what's going on downstairs, but we're not going to come visit. So yeah, I'm very curious to see like what is it going to look like within this year and the next coming years, because Vegas literally relies on tourism. We rely on people from all different backgrounds, economic statuses for us to survive in this economy. So looking at what is being curated on the Las Vegas Strip itself, it's not programming that I think is accessible as much as it used to be, right? We're trying to enter this more like luxury, exclusive experience. And I feel like that's not Las Vegas.
Oh, 100% that. I mean, just look at F1, right? Like, think about how exclusive and walled off, literally, F1 was to the public. They put up the paper or, like, you know, the coverings on the walkways. People just passing by couldn't watch the race. Like, those big 4 casinos on the Strip were the only ones who actually made money off the event, and the rest of the city suffered. So, yeah.
F1 is so emblematic because it's like actually infrastructurally exclusive, physically exclusive. So it's like perfect metaphor. You know?
Yeah. And also the perfect metaphor because it literally costs the taxpayers money, right?
It does.
So I guess what I'm curious about is, what do we lose as a city when we lose the middle class tourist?
You know what? I will say this. If we miss a few more people bellowing, Vegas, baby, when the airline flights are coming in, that is a loss that I find completely welcome. No, but seriously, I feel like, you know, I don't know that this dynamic is going to be some kind of like big sea change. It's not, I don't think like the Fremont Street experience is going to go like full velvet rope bottle service, you know, tomorrow. But it is sort of disheartening because it sort of erodes the Vegas of the popular imagination. I'm thinking of like Dave, you know, art critic Dave Hickey famously, you know, opined that, you know, Vegas embodies some democratic ideal because gambling offers the allure of a sudden change in fortune that is available to everyone equally. And so I think it's sort of, I think we're sort of taking a spiritual hit and maybe an image hit in terms of our sort of multi-purpose welcome mat that's out to the world. And I say keep Vegas sleazy always.
You mean our spirituality is sleaziness? I hear this,
exactly.
Andrew. Yep, deep in my soul. Elle, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I think we are seeing more exclusive experience and high spending per visitor, which may increase like our profits short term. But what about the broader like Las Vegas ecosystem that really values smaller venues, working class tourism? And in some ways, too, I feel like Vegas will risk losing its identity, as Andrew was saying, you know, because the whole point of Las Vegas is anyone could come here and feel like a high roller for just a weekend, you know, like it would be more accessible to go to a club, to go to a show. And with ticket prices starting at like $500 and drinks starting at $30. We're losing, the recipes.
Yeah. Like famously, for example, Jay Sarno spelled Caesars at Caesar's Palace without the apostrophe because it's meant to be plural Caesars, many Caesars, right? Everyone gets to be a Caesar. Everyone gets to be, a king for a day or a week or whatever it is, So, yeah, there's something about that ethos that's kind of fundamental to Las Vegas.
Keep Caesar's Palace, Skeezer's Palace.
Oh, rebrand.
I love it.
Okay,
I don't know if that works.
Clearly, it does. Send that branding right over to them right now. Yes. But what is one piece of lowbrow, maybe like middlebrow Vegas kitsch that you would bring back or enshrine in amber forever if you could?
Wow. If I could use AI to reanimate a sort of android or hologram of Cookie Jar, I would be down for that. I felt like
Andrew, you have to explain who Cookie Jar is, though. For not all our listeners will be acquainted with the charms of the late Cookie Jar.
So Cookie Jar was a longtime Las Vegas entertainer, but saying longtime Las Vegas entertainer doesn't capture his like strange exotic presence. He had this jet black mullet hair, just this like cheap roasted chicken tan with gold medals, draped down his chest, cascading down his chest. He performed at a number of lounges off and on the Strip over the years.
Don't forget the chest hair sprouting through the gold necklaces.
Yeah. Yeah. Just that moist chest hair just bursting forth in a fulgent explosion of manliness. Yeah. So Cookie Jar was just, super cheesy, super fun. Passed away last year in January. And but yeah, just a piece of old Vegas kitsch that I still miss.
Yeah. Known for kind of blue lyrics and a lot of barking, I think, during his songs as well.
Yeah, totally.
There it is.
Yeah, I think I channeled.
Oh,
maybe I am.
Andrew,
I am the reanimation.
Are you the reincarnation of Cookie Jar, Andrew?
I will not claim that.
You and your Skeezer's Palace. I love it. Elle, what about you? What's the Vegas kitsch you're keeping forever?
I think for me, I moved here in 2016. And when I went to my first Vegas buffet, it was a transformative experience.
Which one did you go to?
We went to the Bellagio one.
Oh, nice.
Yes. I had a friend in town and her mom was like, let's go to the Bellagio buffet.
Good choice.
And I'm like, okay, cool. Like, I've been to cruise buffet, small things, but it was nothing like I had ever experienced before. And so I feel like our Vegas buffets are in some way kind of like this social equalizer. Like people from all different walks of life like come in and it's all about abundance and accessibility. And like there's almost like a ridiculous spectacle to it all. That is very Vegas.
Oh, 100%.
I think you have a poem brewing here, Elle.
I think so. Let me hop on next week and recite it for y'all.
Please.
There you go.
I am here for it. I'm here for it. Okay, so my pick is Justice for the Pirate Show, Treasure Island's Pirate Show. Yeah. Bring it back, y'all. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, that was classic for sure.
Well, we're going to go on to our third topic. Zoox has partnered with Uber. Now, as you know, Zoox is the Robotaxi company that has kind of launched itself in Las Vegas as sort of a test case, learning how to navigate our easy grid-like streets here. Matthew Seaman at Channel 3 reports that now there's a new development here. That Zoox has announced this partnership with Uber on Wednesday, and this agreement allows Uber users to call Zoox vehicle actually through the Uber app, so super convenient, expands their user base. They're planning to roll this out later this summer and then expand to LA. And in the meantime, the Zoox app is still going to work, and they say that the rides are initially going to be free to familiarize riders with the service. I'm curious, have you guys ever taken a Zoox? Have you seen them around before on the Strip?
Oh, yeah. I've seen them all over the Strip. So I actually have taken a ride in one of them. I did one of the loops.
You did?
Ooh, what was it like?
It's actually quite nice. I will say it feels slower paced than the crazy Vegas driving and traffic we're used to. The robot itself really took its time and assessed, every intersection, everywhere we were going. So I felt quite safe the entire experience. And inside the vehicle itself, it's very luxurious. You can play your own music. You can adjust the climate. Okay. I was like, wow, they have like a sparkling ceiling. Yeah. And what's cool is it's 4 seats. and it's two people on one side, two people on the other side, and you're facing each other. It's bi-directional too. So you could be driving backwards at one point. It's very, very fun.
Oh, I thought you meant something different by that. I had no idea what it was, but yeah.
But yeah, it's such a interesting experience, and I'm very curious to see, because there's a lot more on the strip now. What that will look like for traffic. Yeah, I felt very safe, and what's nice too is like you're in the vehicle, but there is a human over the phone. So if you need something, like you have access to that too.
Interesting.
How was it calling the car and like getting on and off? Did it actually like pull up to the curb pretty well and stuff? Like did it come pretty, I don't know, when you called it, did it arrive in a timely fashion?
Well, there was a bit of a wait because I think they had mentioned that there are only a handful of bots right now here in Las Vegas. So you're kind of in line as soon as you request it. And what's interesting, I wonder if it will be faster on the Uber app, because Zoox has their own app that we use to hail the ride. And so it was about like a 35-minute wait. But it wasn't anything too killer. Now, when it's the summertime, I think it will be different because people don't want to wait in this heat. You want to get in your car and you want to go. But overall, my personal experience went very smooth. I was very impressed.
Okay.
Nice.
Andrew, how do you feel about the driverless cars, robotaxis? You getting in?
I mean, you know what? I kind of like used to be pro-human when it came to driving, but now I'm in this.
You were pro-human 5 minutes ago. We talked about Jeter.
I know.
Switched it up real quick.
I know.
Yeah, you did.
I'm not a hypocrite. I contain multitudes, right?
Okay.
But yeah, I'm in a state of ambivalence because, but like the more I drive, I'm just increasingly convinced that robots can drive better than humans. So my needle is slowly tipping in the pro Zoox and Waymo camp.
Yeah.
Because I think about things like, safety and the emotional factors that come into driving. Yeah, drunk drivers and stuff like that. So it is always slightly disheartening to me to see, robot cars dotting the streetscape, because it adds this sort of like weird futuristic homogeneousness to the streetscape, I guess. But modern cars aren't that pretty anyway, so it's not a huge loss. But I mean, I'll Zoox it up. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'm actually also like pretty pro Zoox. Like for the safety reasons I just mentioned, like, the vehicles are going to be safer than an impaired driver, for example.
Right.
Our former host, Sarah Lohman, actually also pointed out when it comes to Zoox, when we talked about it in the past, is that you don't have drivers who could potentially make a female passenger feel unsafe.
Right.
Or something like,
huge.
Harassment.
Creeper factor.
Yeah, the creeper factor there too. Yeah, theoretically, I mean, like maybe this is going to solve our traffic woes if all vehicles are moving along at a kind of agreed upon pace and maybe fewer accidents. So yeah, it feels very promising to me. Yeah. But, clearly this is not the solution to the lack of public transit we have in Las Vegas. I am curious though, because the Vegas Loop, which is full of, Teslas, this is the Boring Co's Tesla tunnels, right? Has posited itself as a solution to public transportation. If Zoox and the Vegas Loop Teslas were going to face off in the Thunderdome, who's winning?
The Thunderdome. Teslas, no doubt, because they would have the devastating toxic sludge attack. That would be utterly unstoppable. Yeah. So I think the Teslas would definitely win. And Zooxes are kind of like, like Elle said, they're kind of cute and bumbling in a way,
Yeah.
So
I think I'm going to be biased just because I took a ride in a Zoox and I have yet to actually ride in the Tesla ones for the Vegas Loop they've curated. And I'm going to go with my little Zoox bot. I think that it'd be able to take over in uniform because it's very structured. And I also Teslas, there's too much evidence of Teslas going haywire last minute where I don't know if they're predictable in the Thunderdome.
Hey, that would work in the Thunderdome though. That's a pretty powerful attack.
Yeah.
I think so, yeah. I'm going Team Zoox.
Elle, I'm with you because you know why? Jigglypuff is a dark horse when it comes to Pokemon battles.
Okay.
Cute, puffy, pink, but surprisingly effective and lethal. So just putting that out there.
So you're saying that Zoox is the Jigglypuff of Robotaxis.
Yeah.
Okay,
it's
I love
cute, kind of blue, rounded corners,
Yeah. You can kind of see a little face on it, like the headlights where they're positioned. You just imagine a little smiley face underneath. It's very adorable.
Right.
Okay,
but then again, this is how the robots get us. They come looking cute.
Yeah.
And we bring them into our lives.
And then they're denying our unemployment claims.
Exactly. Yeah. I know.
Starts with the free ride, ends with no unemployment.
Yeah.
Well, they are going to take our jobs, so we're going to need that unemployment. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like it's going to, it's full circle here. Before we go, we've got some neighbor shout outs. The CityCast Las Vegas neighbors are our membership program. They're incredible. You get amazing perks. You get exclusive events, an exclusive events email every week. We actually also have a separate ad-free podcast feed, and we drop bonus content on that feed as well, including, in fact, yesterday's episode on secret menus has an extended cut with even more insider tips on secret menus. So check out membership.citycast.fm. One additional bonus that you get for being a CityCast Las Vegas neighbor is you get to shout out your favorite local biz or organization in the podcast and the newsletter every single week. I've got 2 here today. Daniel M. says, I love the second Nevada Brewworks location in Boca Park. We need more neighborhood bars like this closer to Summerlin. Good beer and food and family friendly.
And get the veggie pizza.
Ooh, veggie pizza.
Killer.
Good
Killer.
tip.
Noted.
Love it. Yeah.
Thank you. And then Danny B shouts out Chef Roma Kitchen on Horizon Parkway, east of Verde Valley Road. Laura is truly the finest service personnel we have ever encountered. Wonderful cuisine and great prices. Shout out to Laura.
Okay.
Okay, Laura.
So get your shout out yourself by joining our CityCast Las Vegas Neighbors program at membership.citycast.fm. All right. Well, Andrew L., thank you so much for joining us on the Friday News Roundup, and enjoy your weekends.
Always. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Hey, y'all. I have got a special treat for you this week. You might have heard that CityCast just launched a new podcast called Your City Could Be Better, and it's usually hosted by our CEO, David Plotz. But this week, we've actually got 2 city hosts hopping on to break down a really important issue. It's federal policing. Chicago's Jacoby Cochran is stepping in as a guest host, and he's talking with DC's Mike Schaefer about a new DC law that aims to hold federal agents accountable. It's a risky move for a city without a state, and it contains lessons for blue cities across the country. And look, if police reform isn't your cup of tea, I bet one of our other episodes will pique your interest. Episodes drop every Friday, and in them, our CEO David Plotz chats with different hosts and producers from the 13 CityCast teams, and so far they've touched on anti-ICE protests, homelessness, and creative plans to revitalize downtowns. If you love your city and you complain about it anyway, this is the podcast for you. Check out the episodes now on YouTube or wherever you get your podcasts. And that's all for today here on CityCast Las Vegas. Our executive producer is Layla Mohammed. Our roving producer is Matthew Rogers. Our creative producer is Jacob Solis. Our newsletter editor is Rob Katchelreese. And I'm Sonia Cho Swanson, faithful servant to our AI overlords, in case they're listening. Music is by OG Moose, Drew Shepard, Epidemic Sound, and All the Kimonos. We record this show on the traditional homelands of the Nuuvi, the Southern Paiute people. And if you enjoyed the show, go tell a friend, rate the show, leave us a review, and subscribe to our morning newsletter, Hey Las Vegas. Don't forget, you can support this show and get some great perks by becoming a CityCast Las Vegas neighbor at membership.citycast.fm. We'll be back Monday morning with more news from around the city. Take care.